Hey there YouTube, this is Punk Rock Matt with another action figure review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Wonder Woman from Mafex's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice line. Got her today from Hobbylink Japan for 4,675 yen, which works out to be about $42.75. She is 6 inches. 15 centimeters, roughly 15. Here she is next to Superman from the same line. Also, I think their skin tones should be swapped, but I'll get more into that later. Next to Batman from the same series. Next to Ash from NECA's Ash vs. Evil Dead series. Kylo Ren from Star Wars Black series. And, of course, Marvel Legends Daredevil. Alright, let's check out this articulation. Okay, well, first off, she has got a ball-jointed neck. There's a double ball joint here in the shoulder, or like a ball joint and socket and hinge on the actual shoulder itself and the inner abdomen part. There's no bicep cut, double jointed elbow, has a ball joint at the upper abdomen and the lower one. Legs are on a pull down socket and hinge. There's a thigh cut in there, a lot of good movement out of there. Double knee joint. The cap on the knee is on the actual knee joint itself, so you can maneuver that around a little bit. Then there is a hinge and socket at the ankle. Her chunky heels. Real good movement out of her, much like you would expect for, oh yeah, I think I forgot the wrists. There's a pretty standard socket and hinge at the wrist. Alright, let's take a look at some of these accessories. I have her shield here. Very cool looking. Like that a lot. We have her sword, which is bent a little bit. Talk a little more about that later. I have the coiled up version, the lasso of truth. Fits into that little hook right there, which is pretty neat. I have the action version of the lasso. Which I do have to say is a badass accessory. Looks very cool. She also has some alternate hands, default fists, 2 of those, open hands. She has these grasping hands. These ones I use for the sword and shield, although I probably ought to use them for these because it was a bitch to get the lasso into those hands. And these are the other ones. These are like the open but not really that open hands. Okay, we'll take a quick look at her box here. Also her last accessory, that stand. Very, very nice to have that. Okay. Wonder Woman action figure, DC Comics, Medicom Toys. Figure number 24. Wonder Woman. There's some posing options. Now, I'm going to keep this out here for a second, because that's going to bring me to my first point about this figure. So we got a few pros and cons to kind of throw around with her. So one thing a lot of people have been saying online, and I can't disagree, is that the actual figure, the face sculpt is pretty different than the image on the box. And it is. It definitely is. However, if you look at an actual picture of Gal Gadot, I mean, it's pretty close. Now, I do think I got kind of lucky as far as face sculpt goes. I've seen some on Instagram that don't look as nice as mine, so that's something to bear in mind if you're thinking about getting this figure. But I mean, I think she looks pretty good, really. You know, I mean, she might not look exactly like that picture, but she does look pretty close to the source material, which is Gal Gadot, you know? So I really can't complain as far as face sculpt goes. I am not at all dissatisfied, although, like I said, I've kind of gotten lucky in that regard. So for me, the face sculpt isn't exactly a gripe. Like I said, it's something to kind of bear in mind, possibly, but, I mean, for mine at least, it's cool. However, there are a couple of things about her. This sword being bent really bums me out, and it's pretty flimsy. I think it could have been slightly harder plastic, and just, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's not even super bent, and I'm sure I could fix it very easily, but I just don't like it when my figures have bent weapons. Sorry, had to have my whiny baby moment. Anyway, beyond the sword, you know, being a thinner figure, feels a little bit more like on the flimsy side compared to the two Batman figures and the Superman figure I have. You know, there's a lot of people talking about the Mafex figures being very fragile and they can break very easily. But really, I haven't had any issue with that with the 4 now I've owned. But I feel like if I were to have an issue, it would probably be with her because she has very thin limbs. But, you know, so far, fingers crossed, no issues. I also feel like she is a touch pale. Now, Superman, Henry Cavill, I should say, in the movie, is pretty pale. And I feel like Gal's a little tanner than he is. And so their skin tones, I think, could be flopped or switched or whatever pretty easily, and it would actually probably look better. But that's a pretty minor gripe, really. I can't, get too upset by her skin tone or whatever. It's not a huge issue, just kind of a minor gripe. Now on to the pros. Mine at least looks really good, I think. I mean, I do think I may have gotten lucky with the face sculpt and no major imperfections or anything. But, I'll take it. I'm happy with that. She also looks really cool with Superman and Batman, the DC Trinity. They just look very, very cool together. One of my favorite parts of my display right now. Another thing is, for everything I've seen, she's the best Gal Gadot Wonder Woman figure out there right now, on this scale at least. Maybe there's one I don't know about that's just stunning looking. And, feel free to leave me a comment if there is. But from the ones I've seen, this one's killing it. This one wins the race, no doubt. Well, I do think that about covers it. I'm very happy with this figure. I'm glad I purchased her. If you were thinking about getting this figure, hopefully I helped you make up your mind. I appreciate you guys watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube jazz. And I will see you guys next time.